We might have a lead on what happened to Lily.
We feel like we should check it out.
Yeah, of course. Do whatever it takes to keep the family safe.
So Matt Clark is free.
Just disappeared. Once he was released, he took off.
That means he could be anywhere. He could be on this ranch. How is this happening again?
The Young and the Restless, YNR, recap for Friday, March 13th, reveals that Patty Williams, Stacey Hayduke, will look forward to some passion with Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, after luring him into her trap. On the yacht, Patty will return from giving Jack a tour and gush about the time they have together. Jack will ultimately learn that a man brought Patty over on a dinghy and claimed he'd be back for her in a couple days. Since there was no mention of arrangements for Jack's return, he'll worry he's on a death ship and suggest there's no guarantee anyone will come back for Patty either. Of course, Patty will be unbothered and act like the risk if just part of her road to redemption. Patty will eventually claim it's hot in there and start stripping down. As for Jack, Patty will coax him into taking his tie off and will help unbutton his shirt once she guides him to the bed. Jack will be sluggish and dizzy, so it'll be obvious that Patty has drugged him. When Jack wonders if Patty put something in his scotch, she'll play innocent and remind Jack that she was his tester. Patty will want to surrender to some passion together and will act like they owe it to themselves to enjoy this reconnection. Jack will protest that he's married, but Patty will insist Diane Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters, never has to know. Since Jack will be totally out of it due to whatever drug is in his system, he'll kiss Patty back and roll on top of her. Next on Friday's YNR episode, Diane, Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, and Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, will make it to the marina, where Billy will pay someone in management $10,000 to spill what he knows. Billy will report back to Kyle and Diane with news about someone renting a luxury yacht for 2 days and will admit a charming woman talked to the office manager. When Billy reveals Patty Williams is out there with Jack, Diane and Kyle will wonder how that's even possible since she was in a psychiatric facility the last time they heard anything about her. Billy, Kyle, and Diane will struggle to make sense of all this since Victor Newman, Eric Braden, hates Patty, but they'll know there must be a scheme in motion. Since they'll be taking a boat out to the yacht, Billy will hope Diane's not seasick and warn that it's going to be a bumpy ride. Back in Genoa City, Victor will come home to a livid Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. After Nikki demands answers, Victor will admit he's got Jack on ice and clearly won't be sorry about it. Despite Nikki's complaints, Victor will insist Jack's fine and point out that he's not alone. Nikki will grill Victor about who's with Jack, so he'll imply that she's jealous and stomp off. In Phyllis Summers' Michelle Stafford office, Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, will show up looking for her and decide to write a letter when she's not there. After Kane grovels in that letter, he'll wad it up and decide it wouldn't have made any difference anyway. Kane will also make a video for Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, to apologize for what she's been through and acknowledge that he needs to stay away from her to ensure her happiness. Although Kane won't know when Lily will finally get a chance to watch that video, he'll send it to her over the phone anyway. Kane will shout in frustration before he finally decides to head out. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Lily will make it home in the not-too-distant future, so Billy will be able to apologize in person soon. His scheme to destabilize Jack has worked perfectly. However, he has unleashed forces he may not be able to control. Nikki, his wife, is already fiercely opposed to his tactics against Jack, whom she considers a dear friend. This latest atrocity could be the breaking point in their already strained marriage. Nikki may see this not as a business victory, but as a step too far into personal destruction. As Monday's episode closes, the landscape of Genoa City will be forever altered. The Abbott mansion, once a symbol of family legacy, will feel like a mausoleum. Diane's rage echoes in the silence. Jack's desperate pleas hang in the air, and the Williams sisters' chaotic return has left nothing but destruction in its wake. The battle lines are redrawn, and the war between the Newmans and the Abbotts has just gotten intensely, heartbreakingly personal. The Young and the Restless, YNR, spoilers reveal that multiple characters could find themselves facing some health drama. Some shocking moments are ahead on the CBS soap, so we should consider some big twists and major consequences. Based on the story developments that the show's setting up, 3 medical emergencies could be looming. Some familiar faces could land in crisis mode, So let's talk about which characters will be affected and how they might end up in distress. 1. Nick's overdose drama. In YNR's March 12th episode, Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, shared some drug-related warning signs regarding Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, with Noah Newman, Lucas Adams. Drug addiction is something Sienna's seen for herself and her brother, who died of an overdose. There's a good chance Nick could be headed for an overdose of his own now that he's getting hooked on fentanyl. Will Nick be rushed to the hospital once his drug issues worsen down the road? 2. Matt's life-threatening final face-off. Matt Clark, Roger Howarth, is another character who could be headed for a life-threatening situation. Will Matt face a grim fate after the showdown that's brewing with Nick and Adam Newman, Mark Grossman? Matt's medical emergency could prove to be a fatal one if the show decides the character needs a permanent ending. Perhaps Matt could get a grisly send-off that haunts Adam if wipes Matt off the map to protect Nick. 3. Connor spins out over broken family. Adam's about to get tangled up in some Vegas horror that could change him and draw him towards some of his more sinister impulses. By the time Adam returns to Genoa City, he may not feel like he's the same man Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, recommitted to. Adam loves his family more than anything, but that love could cause him to push Chelsea and Connor Newman, Judah Mackey, away. If Adam doesn't think he can be a good partner or father anymore, he may tear his family apart with devastating results. If that's the case, Connor's OCD could flare up and cause him to spin out in ways that cause harm. It could force Connor into more intensive treatment again, so Adam and Chelsea will have to proceed with caution if their relationship crumbles. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some shockers and shakeups are still to come, so stick with us for all the alarming news and emergencies that might be in store. The Young and the Restless, YNR, spoilers reveal that multiple characters could find themselves facing some health drama. Some shocking moments are ahead on the CBS soap, so we should consider some big twists and major consequences. Based on the story developments that the show's setting up, 3 medical emergencies could be looming. Some familiar faces could land in crisis mode, so let's talk about which characters will be affected and how they might end up in distress. 1. Nick's overdose drama. In YNR's March 12th episode, Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, shared some drug-related warning signs regarding Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, with Noah Newman, Lucas Adams. Drug addiction is something Sienna's seen for herself and her brother, who died of an overdose. There's a good chance Nick could be headed for an overdose of his own now that he's getting hooked on fentanyl. Will Nick be rushed to the hospital?